All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome. Hooley House here in Menor. It is another edition of Varsity Chalk Talk. I'm your host, Bill Tilton. We are breaking down the high school football scene in the area. We've been doing it every Monday for the past 10 seasons, and we are off and running in 2018. Amazing that here we go again, and we're already into week number 2. The summer's over. We had some great week 1 games, some great wins. We have a good lineup tonight. A lot of the best teams in the area. We always have the Menor Cardinals that start us off. We also tonight have the Euclid Panthers. We have the North Rangers. Madison Blue Streaks are supposed to be coming. VASJ Vikings, Perry Pirates, South Rebels, and the Lake Catholic Cougars will be our anchor team. So hopefully we'll get you all set up for week 2. We'll go over what happened in week number 1. We have some Hooley House Players of the Week to give away this week. Some unbelievable individual performances, some great games, and a little bit of everything in between. So hopefully everybody's ready for some high school football talk. And as I said before, we always kick everything off with Menor. So Coach Triv and the guys, come on up. I know they have another engagement they need to be at on a Monday, so we want to get them in and out of here as quickly as we can. Shout out to the Hooley crew, Matt, Lisa, everybody behind the bar, in front, in the back, to my guy Mike, who's doing all the technical stuff for me tonight, so we appreciate his help. Oh, is that, you got it, Trip? Got it? All right. Just give that a test real quick.
Testing.
There we go. Perfect. All right. So first up, folks, I guess in the classic category of what do you do for an encore, the first week, the biggest game possibly in the state of Ohio was right up the street at the JTO. 2 absolute Division I heavyweights who almost assuredly will be playing deep into November, put on one heck of a football game. And the Menor Cardinals got out of the JTO with a 42-39 win. And with me, as always, to kick us off is Coach Steve Trevisano and the Cardinals. Coach, how are you, man?
Oh, we're great. Thanks for having us.
No, thanks so much for being here, and what a great first week, Coach. I mean, not just, listen, wins are wins. You've got almost 200 or whatever it is. And listen, you always want to win. You don't want to lose. I don't mean it like that. But I mean, the atmosphere, the crowd, just 2 good teams. It lived up to all the hype. I just thought it was a great night overall.
It was that. It was a great night for football. It was a beautiful night. They had that big festival going on, and you had 2 of the best programs in the state battling, and it lived up to its billing. So it was big boy football Friday night.
Absolutely. Coach, the thing that really struck me, and I think everybody else, and I don't know why, when you got bookend tackles going to the Big Ten and you got talented kids all over the field, is everybody said, geez, I didn't know they could run the ball like that. And I said, do you think they're going to drop back and throw 80 times a game? So let's just say that your running game was awfully impressive the other night.
Oh, absolutely. We were able to run the ball when we wanted and when we needed, and that was good. But it helps when you have 2 big tackles like that. You're able to follow behind. And I thought the 3 interior guys did a great job. So I was really pleased with where we did. And obviously Brian had a great night, and the young quarterback did in and held his own and did a great job.
Coach, obviously 42 points, I mean, offensively for an inexperienced group, and you said afterwards you're pretty pleased, especially when it's a sophomore QB, the junior down there at the end that we're going to get to. Defensively, I don't know that the score, obviously they got the last score with no time, and I thought you guys did some good things. That first series was kind of like, hey, we're getting used to,
Absolutely.
the lights, right? But what did you like about what you saw defensively?
Well, I liked a lot of things we did defensively. The one problem when you get into some scrimmages, we didn't see anybody like their wideout.
Kent,
I mean, he's going to Michigan, and he can go fast. And, we had a little bit of trouble with that, and that's something we'll work on now that we've seen it a little bit more and get better at it. But, they're talented. They're a great football team, was able to do stuff. Their quarterback played great, and I think their running back and our running back are pretty identical. So it was a great game. And as you get into the second half of those early games, that happens a lot. It becomes a higher scoring game because people wear down.
Coach Steve Trevisano, the Menor Cardinals, joining us. We are going to get to his guys in just a second. And Coach, obviously it doesn't get any easier, and you guys schedule it that way on purpose because I remember one of the very first times I ever interviewed you. You looked me dead in the eyes and said, "If we can't beat them in November, what's the point?" You know what I mean? You want to be ready for these teams. How impressed, because you don't know, you're a little inexperienced, but you come out of the gate, you beat a good St. Ed's team, and now you're going to go into this St. Ignatius game with a ton of confidence. So how good are you feeling about your football team now?
And you never know going into that first game how it's going to go, but we came out and played well and played hard and did what we needed to do. So that makes things a little bit easier, and now you got to go and do it again. And that's the thing that young people got to learn is how to play week in and week out and day out. And that's why you play games like that, and that's why you schedule games like that.
Coach, I want to talk about, obviously, Ignatius and get into that football game.
Sure.
Why don't you introduce those guys you brought up?
We've got all the way on the far end is Brian Trobel, our running back, our junior running back. In the middle is Brady Bent, a senior outside linebacker, and our left tackle, Ryan Jacoby.
Start with Ryan, who, if you don't know, if you haven't read a paper in the last 8 months, Ryan is going to The Ohio State University. He is I would call it all Ohio, but I think it goes beyond that. He's probably closer to an All-American. So, Ryan, as a mainstay on that offensive line, when you're looking in the quarterback rushes for what he did and Trobel rushes for what he did, and I don't think they got a ton of pressure on Kip. I mean, you had to be really pleased with your group up front. Just talk about the effort your guys gave.
Yeah, we all played very well up front. The communication was very good. We did what we needed to do, but we still have a lot of improvement we have to do and to get better for this really good Ignatius defense.
Now, I kind of already know the answer because I know you guys have a ton of confidence in your sophomore quarterback. And Brian, I think is quickly, I've been saying on the radio to anybody who will listen, you guys don't watch this might not be a name you know now. How confident were you before that game? Maybe you didn't have a number in mind, but that you knew he could perform like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, seeing him last year in JV, we knew what he could do. We knew he was going to bring it up to the varsity level this year, and he did exactly what we wanted him and needed him to do.
Ryan, I don't think you guys are a team that, quote-unquote, needed any kind of confidence, but when you beat a team like that, who some people picked right along with you guys to be in the regional final state semis, does that boost you up a little bit going into the following weeks?
Definitely boosts us up a little bit, but we got to know that we can't get big heads and not work hard in practice every day because we still have more competition throughout the season.
Ignatius. It's kind of like I said last week to you guys about St. Ed's, that they can graduate and the names can change, but you know they're going to be good at every position. Now, they come off a tough loss at home. I'd have to go back and check the last time they lost 2 straight games at Byers, so you guys got a tough shot ahead of you, a team that, kind of backed into the wall type of thing. What's key to winning this game? Let's start with your side of the ball on offense. If you can run the ball like that, you can beat any team in Ohio. Is that what some of the emphasis is on?
Yeah, we kind of know they're going to bring a lot of pressure on us because we have an inexperienced interior offense line. But we know if we stop that and we get the running game going like we did last week, then we're going to be unstoppable. And then if they stop that, we can always air out the ball too with our stud quarterback.
Ryan, what you saw on Friday night, is that what you think you guys are capable of being consistently like all year? Or do you think that, hey, it's just our first game, we can even get better than that?
Oh, I definitely think we're going to get better than that because our main focus is getting better every day. And if we keep on doing that, the sky's the limit.
Appreciate you being here, man. Thanks so much. Next up, go ahead and introduce yourself for the folks who don't know you. I don't think you've been here yet before. Come on, Brian.
Brian Trobel, I'm a junior.
And junior running back, I had it coming in here, Coach. Am I at 171 and 4 touchdowns? Does that sound right? It was 190. I'm sorry. Try to cheat him out of 18 yards. So 190, 4 touchdowns, only 24 carries, caught a screen pass, 4th and 3, put the game away. I don't know, man. We asked you after the game, but could you imagine having a better first varsity game than that? That had to go about as well as you could have thought, right?
I was pretty confident in myself. I was confident in the game plan we had. Of course, the linemen we have in front of us. There's not really much to say.
Humble, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, pretty happy. So I'll ask you the same kind of question I asked Ryan. Do you feel like the offense and yourself, you're just going to keep getting better and better?
We're definitely going to keep getting better. I think we could have had a bigger lead if we did a little bit more things right. We definitely could have did more things right. It was the first game. Some people was pretty nervous, but we could definitely be better.
So beating St. Edward and then having 8 days until you get ready for St. Ignatius, it really keeps you on your toes, right? It keeps the focus up. So how important is that for you? You're a junior, spent last year mostly JV. Is it a different thing? I'm sure being on JV as opposed to these bright lights and these big games, how different is it for you this year?
It's pretty different. The atmosphere, everything is different. The speed, the pace of the game, the physicality. Everything is different, but I'm pretty used to it.
Yeah, you certainly didn't look like you had any any inexperience the other night. That's for sure. Brian, again, 190, 4 touchdowns, an unbelievable start. Brian is going to be one of our 2 Hooley House Players of the Week for his effort, so congratulations. And before you go, grab a shirt out of this box. Just make sure you're careful when you go over there. So unbelievable effort in the first. Well, let me ask you this real quick. St. Ignatius, I don't need a scouting report, but what are some of the keys that are going to be on Saturday night over at Byers?
We have to run the ball good. Passing game has to click. They're a pretty good team. They're very good on defense, good linebackers, good defensive line. We just have to bring it to them that night, and everything will go good for us.
Well, thanks again for being here. Congratulations. Make sure you grab a shirt on your way out, all right?
Thank you.
Go ahead and pass that down to your teammate. Brady's up next, one of the key members of a very good defense. Brady, just name, year, and position for the podcast tonight.
Brady Benz, I'm a senior, and I'm outside linebacker.
So even though 39 points, and again, one play at the very end, there's a lot of things we could talk about with that game, but what did you like about what you saw from the guys on defense the other night?
Well, we tackled very well. I think we ended up with like a 90-something% tackle. We missed 8 tackles the whole night, so we tackled well, but those 39 points, we did not play anywhere near to our potential as a defense. There's a lot of things that we need to clean up and stuff. So,
and that's the great thing. To win a big game like that, most programs would just be gloating and satisfied and floating on air. But you guys, not that you're not happy, but you feel like, immediately the focus was how do we get better and let's get ready for St. Ignatius. I know that's coach's message every week. Yeah,
there's a lot of things that really need cleaned up. We did a lot of the big no's that you can't do, which led to a lot of big plays, but I mean, we're going to fix it up. We're going to get ready for this week.
Does playing a kid like Quintel Kent on the outside and their running back Castleberry and the quarterback I thought had a good game, when you play that level of competition right away, does that help kind of get you into the season? Because I'm not saying you won't see other good athletes, but I mean, it really gives you a test in week 1. Is that fair to say that really helps you guys the rest of the year?
Yeah, when you go into a first game like that and you got to be slow into it. You don't realize the speed that you're going to see until you're really there. So, I mean, it takes a little bit, but once you see something like that, it helps a lot for upcoming weeks. You know the speed of the game, all that.
Brady, talk to me about St. Ignatius. What are you expecting Saturday night? I mean, every year you expect a great game. I don't know the last Menor Ignatius game that wasn't hyped up and that, ended up being a dud per se. So just talk to me about this game and what do you expect out of their offense on Saturday?
I mean, it's going to be tough. They also have a good running back, and he played very well when we played him in the playoffs last year. So, I mean, and they're just a real tough football team. So, I mean, it's going to be a good game. We're just going to have to come out and hit them hard.
Appreciate you being here, man. Let's pass that back to Coach Triv. I know the Cardinals got another stop to make, so we want to get them out of here. Coach, I can't let you go, though, obviously, without asking about Ignatius. It's become, outside of maybe their rivalry with St. Ed's, I think maybe one of the best rivalries in Northeast Ohio. It feels like you guys play twice a year. I know you have a lot of respect for Coach Kyle. I know they have a ton of respect for you guys. And I don't know another team that's really had the success against Ignatius that you guys have had. And I ask every year up here, and I think you always say it's because our guys aren't intimidated. We kind of know each other. Talk about the success you guys have had.
It's a long-time rival. I think, at least since I've been there, I think it's 9-9.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, 19th game. We've played each other a lot. We play each other in 9th grade. We play each other in 10th JV. They play each other in varsity every year, sometimes twice. It's one of those great football games against 2 great schools, and these kind of games that need to be played.
Coach, what is it with them this year? Just, you don't have to give out specifics or game plan, but just starting with their offense, they seem to always have playmakers.
Yeah, they've got I think they actually got 2 really good running backs in there with a big line. The receivers are, like our guys, they're good. They get open, they run great routes, they catch the ball. And I think their quarterback's going to be pretty good. It was his first start against a really good Hoban team, and they dropped a couple that they usually don't that would have kept drives going and changed the game a little bit. And defensively, they're always good. And they've got what I think is probably the best linebacker I've seen in the last 10 years in Eichenberg. And they're really good. It'll be probably the best defense, out there right now. So we've got a challenge.
Saturday night at Byers. It's always a packed house, a great atmosphere. 1-0 Menor against 0-1 St. Ignatius, coming off a tough loss to Akron-Hoban, who they've only won 3 straight state titles. So I'd say
they
really played
good.
a pretty good first week opponent too. Guys, I really appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
here. Brian, congratulations again. Make sure you grab a shirt. All right, that's the Menor Cardinals, ladies and gentlemen, 1-0, and they take on St. Ignatius on Saturday night. All right. Next up, another one of the top teams in the area, another team that made a deep title or run last year, and started off with a win. Maybe a little bit tougher than some people thought. I think that should be credit to the opponent. We'll see what Coach has to say. And it ended up being a win by a couple of touchdowns. Perry defeats Riverside, and with me, glad that everything's fine with him and his family, and actually he sent me a very funny text, which I'll either let him share or I won't. But Coach Matt Rosati and the Perry Pirates are with us. Coach, how you doing, man? Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Bill.
There it is. There it is. Coach, so 28-14, I don't know. Just tell me about the game. I think with you guys, the bar is set so high that if you don't win by 50, something's wrong with Perry, and I think that's unfair to Perry, and I think it's unfair to the opponent, too. And it's a road game. It's week 1. You know, you guys graduated a ton of talent last year. Not that you don't have a ton this year, but just talk about the week 1 win.
Well, it was a great win against a really good Riverside team. They came out really hard. They played really well, especially in the first half, and they had us on our heels, no doubt about it. So I was happy with our guys. We got focused and understood what we had to do in the second half, and we came out and played a pretty solid second half. But give a lot of credit to Riverside, and like I said, going there, playing a really good school is difficult to do.
Coach, there was so much about last year and the 10-0 and the run to, the state semi and blah, 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 and then you lose some guys. But I knew you guys were confident coming back into the year. But was it one of those, it was good to get some guys who had to step up, some experience under the Friday night lights? I mean, it's one thing to talk about it and to go through the summer and scrimmages, and then you go, here, now see how you react. I mean, that had to be a good thing for your guys, right?
It was, Bill. Anytime you can put them in some adverse conditions, it's always good. It's going to pay off in the long run, and we definitely were in some adverse conditions on Friday night, but our guys stepped up, and they know how to win, and they did the little things when it mattered. So we were happy with the way it turned out, but we really didn't play very well. We know we have to play a lot better this week against a really good Chardon team, so we have a lot to work on.
And the other great part of it is we're a long way from talking about seeding and playoffs, but it's a Division II school that you beat, so obviously that's going to help down the road. 28-14 again. Perry defeats Riverside at Riverside, the first of 3 straight road games to start the year, Coach. And this week, I kind of mentioned it to Menor going out to Ignatius, that whole our backs against the wall, protect our turf thing. You don't see Ignatius lose 2 games in a row at home a lot. Chardon doesn't start 0-2 a whole heck of a lot, and they lost to a West Geauga team. So before we get to the young man to your right, just in general, kind of a broad brush, what do you expect this weekend?
It's going to be a very, very electric environment, no doubt about it. Our first time traveling to Chardon, so we know they're a very good football team, a very good football program. Coach Hewitt does a tremendous job, and we know there are a lot of points on the line for both teams, so this is almost a must-win for them, and we're considering it the same thing. So this is going to be a really, really good football game, and we're super excited to go out there and give it our best shot.
Coach, we'll get into the Chardon game a little more. Why don't you introduce the guy you brought to your right?
Well, Bill, I brought one of the best kids in the state of Ohio. There's no doubt about it. Jacob Allen. Jacob plays all over for us, but for really 4 years he's been the bedrock of our football program.
And I want to thank Jacob, too, because he was here again last week, and guys that are supportive of the program and come week in, week out, I really do appreciate. So, Jacob, first of all, talk to me about this game. And, again, I don't think it's fair. Everybody said, what's going on with – a 2-touchdown win on the road is pretty good no matter who you're playing, and Riverside's a pretty good team. So, as a senior, as a leader, what did you think about the performance the other night?
Well, we definitely should have played better. We were very lackadaisical on defense in the first half, especially lazy on offense, and we just felt like didn't come to play that game. This is a team loaded with talent, experience from last year.
I mean, do you feel that you needed that game? I don't want to use the word wake-up call because I feel like that's disrespectful to Riverside, but did you need a game to kind of get you going, to kind of get, so that maybe some of the guys understand how you need to play and the level you need to play at?
Yeah, I feel like some people on our team feel like I don't want everyone to get big heads on our team, and we needed a game like that to wake everybody up, to let them know that we're not as good as we think we are. We got to prove it first.
This is a schedule, Jacob, that is, I mean, at Chardon, at Madison, St. Vincent, St. Mary, West Geauga just beat Chardon, got them. I mean, what do you want to see out of your team improvement-wise to navigate a 10-game schedule like that?
I think we just have to work better together and play harder for one another.
Tell me a little bit about Chardon. What do you know about them? What have you seen? What are you expecting this week?
They're a tough team. It will be a hard-fought game, but we just need, on defensively, we need to read our keys and trust our coaches and do what we do.
All right, appreciate it. Let's pass that back to Coach Rosati. Coach Rosati and the Perry Pirates 1-0 with a tough road game at Chardon, and obviously, Coach, the expectations are very high, and I think it starts with you, and you've said this as many times as I've ever asked you a question, as you guys don't back away from that. It's quite the contrary. You revel in, hey, these are games we're looking forward to, and we want to see Steubenville again, and we want to do this, and we expect to do this, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is a confidence in the program. So this week, is this a game, even though you expect a dogfight, but you expect to go on the road and beat a good Chardon team, and Coach Hewitt obviously is a guy I know you have a lot of respect for?
Well, yeah, Bill, and if you really want to be a quality football program, you're going to have to play quality teams, and scheduling the way that we have, being a Division IV team, playing all these bigger schools, it's an expectation, it's a challenge for us, and when you win, it's great, and you can look back, and these guys, I know they can look back when they're 40 years old, 50 years old, they can look back and say, we did some pretty special things, and we played some pretty good football teams, so they have something to be proud of down the road. So,
very quickly, because obviously the elephant in the room when you see Chardon on the schedule is the wing tee, and do you wholesale change your defense for 1 week? Is that hard to do after you play one way for 9 weeks? Do you need to change? What is your approach when you play a team like Chardon?
Well, what it usually comes down to, Bill, you do need to have a little wrinkles, but it comes down to players. One thing that I've learned over the years is that, changing defenses and doing all kinds of different things, you usually just end up going right back to what you do. And believe in what you do and play as hard as you can. And if you have good players, you're going to be in pretty good shape. So we're not making a lot of changes at all. We're going to line up and see who's better. That's our goal.
Well, Coach, I always appreciate it. And, again, on a personal note, if I can just say, I'm glad your son's feeling better, and obviously he scored twice, right? Come on, Dad, you're allowed to tell the folks. It's for the podcast. So your son's first name? Anthony, right?
Yes.
Anthony scored 2 touchdowns. He's a freshman?
He's a junior.
He's a junior, I'm sorry. 2 first touchdowns of his varsity career, or had he scored before?
He scored last year,
okay.
But first time as a starter.
So that was pretty exciting, and he's feeling better. We don't need to go into details of what was wrong, but he's feeling good?
He's feeling good. He better be.
And help the Pirates get the win. So congratulations to Anthony, to all your guys. We'll see you back here next Monday and hopefully talking about another win, okay?
Thanks so much, Bill.
That's Coach Rosati and the Perry Pirates. Congratulations to them. They're 1-0. Coach Bandera, come on up. We have Mayfield, then North will be right after them. We are waiting to see if VASJ and Madison are on their way. We know Euclid will be here around 7:30. South will be here a little bit later. The Lake Catholic Cougars are waiting patiently as our anchor team. They could go a little earlier than expected. All right. So from 42-39 at the JTO to an absolute, if you like defense, you'd like that one, 3-0. You don't see a lot of high school games end that way, but it was obviously 2 very good defenses going at it, and the Wildcats got out of their opener with a win over Walsh Jesuit, and Coach Bandera is good enough to join me, brought some of his guys up. Coach, how are you tonight, man?
Good, Bill. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, congratulations, and being an offensive guy, I'm sure that you would have liked to see a little more out of that side, but boy, what a way to start and set the tone on defense. Just talk about that group.
For sure, man. We got some experience coming back on defense up the middle with our nose guard, our middle linebacker, our outside linebackers back. We have a corner that started last year, so we feel pretty confident on that side of the ball. And it was very similar to the game that we played against them last year. We won 10-0 last year. This year we drove down in the first series and just kind of stalled on fourth down, but we had the similar drive, and then we kicked a field goal later on in the game. And give it credit to Walsh. They have a very stingy defense as well. We moved the ball pretty well, but just didn't execute in the red zone. And our defense played lights out.
Coach, you get a game like that, and I mean, I would think, I don't know if you guys are a program that quote-unquote needs confidence, but what does that do defensively when you can go on the road and shut out a team and play that well for 48 minutes? I mean, does that just boost that side of the ball for the rest of the year?
For sure. I mean, anytime you could shut out a team like Walsh Jesuit Private School, who plays in a very difficult conference. So, on paper, they may be 2-8, 3-7, but they are not a bad football team. And, to play in week 1 when they're 0-0 is a very difficult task for us. So it's been great the past 2 years to kind of start off with a shutout. It just so happens that we get to play Massillon Jackson in week 2, which we have to obviously be ready for them.
Coach, what you talked about stalling out, good first drive. I know how high you are on your quarterback and some of the other guys, obviously, on that side of the ball. Do you think it's just a matter of tweak here, execution there? What do you think is going to have to change for the next 9 games and hopefully into the postseason?
We're just young we're young on offense. We have a starting running back that's pretty much a first-year starter. All our receivers are first-year starters. Michael was a sophomore. I mean, he's people think he's a fifth-year senior, but he's a sophomore. So he hasn't played a game since last November, just getting his feet back under him, and he'll be fine. Our receivers are getting used to each other and getting used to Michael in game situations. They'll be fine. And Jameer did a really good job running the ball and kind of settling the offense down when it needed to be done. And when push came to shove, it was 3rd and 7 with about 4 minutes left, and we hit a screen play for 40 yards, and that kind of sealed the game for us.
Coach, let's bring in the guys you brought with you. Go ahead and introduce them.
Sure. We brought our captains tonight. To my right is Tyler Tiggs, outside linebacker. To his right is Michael Huss, quarterback. To his right is Stacy Collins, cornerback and wide receiver. And to his right is Jameer Nunley, running back.
All right. For the podcast, and by the way, folks, I forgot to mention before, the podcast will be available this week on several different options, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud. You'll be able to listen back. My guy Mike Clark will make sure that's posted at some point this week. So for the podcast, just give me your name, your year, and your position.
Tyler Tiggs, class of 19, linebacker and safety.
So as a linebacker, as a defensive guy, how pleased were you leaving that field with a shutout? I mean, on the road, 48 minutes, the other team doesn't get on the scoreboard. That had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I was very pleased with how the game went. But to be totally honest with you, that's what we expect. The way we go at practice every day, the way our coaches are on us, our film study, and just building up, that's what we expect.
Love that confidence. What were some of the things that you guys did particularly well? Were you just flying to the ball? Was it turnovers? What do you feel you guys did really well the other night?
Well, we were really clicking on all cylinders, but in particular, communication before the plays, flying around, and celebrating with our team, just having fun.
This is something that obviously it's hard to improve on a shutout, right? So what do you guys do to keep getting better to make sure that you can continue this high level?
You just got to have a hungry mindset. You got to go into practice like you just lost the game. That's what our coaches tell us, and just be prepared. That's all you can do is just be prepared.
What about this next game, Massillon Jackson? What do you do to prepare yourself? How are you going to win this football game?
Well, we know they're going to be a tough physical team. They like to run stretch. We're been in the film room. We've watched a lot of film on them and just practicing hard, making sure we did what we did last week.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Pass that down. Next up. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Michael Huss, freshman. Sophomore. Quarterback.
Sophomore quarterback. Michael, obviously the offense didn't do exactly what you would have liked, right? I mean, but When your defense plays like that, does that take a lot of pressure off of you and the guys on the offense?
Yeah, it did. It did last week. Just knowing that our defense was playing outstanding, and most likely we're just going to get the ball back, and they weren't going to give up any touchdowns or any points.
This is an offense that you know can move the ball, that you know can score points. So is it just a matter of the confidence is still there, now it's just a matter of executing?
Yeah, I think even last week we did a pretty good job of executing, but we just got to get better and be able to put the ball in the end zone.
Massillon Jackson's next up. I don't need a game plan or you to tell me, give away secrets, but what do they do defensively? What are the challenges with playing a team like that?
They're just really big. They're Massillon Jackson. You just know they're going to be big. They're going to attack you. They're going to throw a lot of different looks at you, and you just got to be ready for anything.
For the season, the rest of the year, I'm not asking for a crystal ball prediction, but when the defense plays like that, if you feel the offense can start clicking, how good can this team be right now?
I think we could be really good, and I think the offense is going to start clicking soon, and it's going to be really good.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up for the Wildcats, who are 1-0, and they come home to host Massillon Jackson this week. Go ahead.
Stacey Collins, senior corner and receiver.
So, again, man, I start with you guys on defense. That is just an impressive performance. How impressed were you? And I guess the second part of the question is, did you expect something like that going in there?
Yeah, like Tyler said when he was talking, we all expected that. We know what our defense can do. Every play we go hard, we all get to the ball, and when we're all doing that, going hard every play, we know we could be a tough team to move the ball on.
So this is maybe a scary proposition for the WRC and the rest of the people on your schedule. How much better can you guys get on defense?
We can get way better. We got a lot of stuff we can get way better on. So just keep working every week.
Make sure you hold that close to you so we can hear you.
Okay.
When you look at Massillon Jackson, they're always big and physical, and they have playmakers. What are the keys to winning this game Friday night? What do they do on offense?
I think if we really shut down the run and make them pass the ball, we have a good enough secondary where we can lock down their passing too and really get to the QB. So if we get to the QB early and hit him a lot, then it can make the game a lot easier for us.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up for the Wildcats. Hold the bottom of that. I think the cord might be coming out. Just push it. Yeah, try it again.
Jameer Nunley, senior running back.
So, again, asking, on offense, obviously it didn't go the way you guys would have liked, but I'm sure the confidence is still there. What do you feel needs to happen to kind of rebound and get going after this?
I really think it's all about execution. I think if our defense could do that every game, that definitely makes the job way easier for us. So I think going into this week, we're just focused on executing.
Lot of talent, but young guys. Do you see the young guys are learning? It's one thing to go to camp and do 7-on-7 and scrimmages. It's another thing to be Friday night under the lights. So do you feel the young guys are starting to learn that side of the ball?
Definitely. And us as seniors, we're definitely doing a good job of taking them under our wing and kind of showing them the ropes a little bit. We got a really young, talented group.
How about Massillon Jackson this week? Defensively, what are the challenges playing this team?
Like Mike said, they're just big and physical, and it's going to be a battle for the line of scrimmage, and we just got to come out and do our part. Appreciate
it, man. Thanks so much. Let's get your coach back in here. Appreciate the Mayfield Wildcats coming out. 3-0 winners. They are 1-0. And, Coach, so Massillon Jackson, it's a big team, obviously. A lot of kids on the sidelines, a lot of athletes. I'm sure they got some size. Talk a little bit about keys to winning this football game this week.
We got to come out, Bill. It's our home opener. We got to come out on defense and bring that energy like we brought, swarm to the football, turn them into a throwing team because they got some big boys up front and they could run the ball pretty well. So we want to turn them into a throwing team on offense. And then offensively, we have to execute. We have to be able to run the football early and be able to take some chances down the field. And, we just got to make some plays and get comfortable with each other and score some points.
Coach, this team, I'm not asking again for crystal ball predictions, but as I said to one of your guys, with the defense playing like that and your offense, has the capability to get going. What's the ceiling for this team this year? Do you feel like you're capable of beating anybody on the schedule and just going as far as you can possibly go?
We got to beat Massillon Jackson, Bill. That's all I'm worried about right now. And there's some good football teams on our schedule. So we have to take it one game at a time, one day at a time. We have to have a good practice tomorrow, and take it like that because we practice on offense tomorrow, and we have to get better tomorrow on offense.
All right, Coach. Well, listen, I really appreciate you guys coming up, and you're welcome any Monday. Hopefully we'll get you back here, beat a good Massillon-Jackson team, and maybe we'll see you next week. Good luck this week, all right?
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
That is the Mayfield Wildcats. Coach, I'm going to grab him real quick. Come on. We're going to squeeze Euclid in because they needed 7:30, and then we got North, I promise. VASJ will be after North. Lake Catholic and South will round out the evening. Good to see our next guest. Always just so supportive of the show, complimentary, and any chance with a crazy schedule for a lot of reasons that they get, they're here. So we really appreciate their time. Coming off a very, very nice Week 1 win at their gorgeous new stadium against a good Glenville team, 42-17. Coach Rotsky and the Euclid Panthers. Coach, first of all, thanks for being here tonight.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Coach, I mean, where do you start? I mean, it's a gorgeous stadium. It was a beautiful night for football. It's a good Glenville team. I know the respect you have for Coach Ginn. They've been doing it for a long time, and it was a dominant victory. Just talk about playing that well on Week 1 and really setting the tone for the season.
Well, first off, what was so special, number one, our kids know we honor our young man Dre. We call it the Dre Bowl, and so it was very special. But the whole pageantry, the things besides the stadium that the school has bought, and we had the Ring of Honor that night. It was really cool, but we came out. It was great, 7-0. We had 17 penalties on the first drive, but still we go 14-0, and then we penaltied ourselves in the first half. Very frustrating until this young man had maybe the play of the year on an interception touchdown where he ran and swerved, and then finally in the second half we did what we were capable of doing, and so I was proud of our group. We have some huge tests. I mean, there's no break in our schedule, but our young quarterback, at 9 for 12 threw 3 touchdowns, which was a good start. Our defense, I thought, played very well. Again, with the exception of penalties, it could have been a little bit easier on us than it was.
Yeah, 4 straight home games to start. Well, that's the good news. The crazy that Lorraine is a quality program. Ignatius is Ignatius. Medina's already off to a good start. So I know you as a coach, I've been talking to you too long. You're not worried about weeks 3, 4, 5. You're worried about this week and getting better and getting to 2-0. So we'll stick there. I want to get to these young men, but
Absolutely.
Coach, Lorraine presents numerous issues for any team they play. They're very athletic. I feel like they're very well coached. I feel like that's a program gaining some momentum and confidence. What do you see when you see Lorraine?
Well, first off, they're number 7 in the city according to all that stuff. They're number 5. But I can tell you that they've sandbagged us a little bit, quite frankly, not sending us film.
Okay.
And so I'm really they've motivated our group very aggressively because that's just not how we do business. But their football team is they got speed everywhere. They're huge up front, but they also haven't played against our speed. And and I think one of the great things about our team is we're very, very deep now, and that we can play 8, 9 defensive linemen. We played 4 tailbacks last week. So I feel that our depth hopefully is going to be, but they're a veer option team. You got to stop the veer and get them to do things that they're uncomfortable with, and stop them hitting the deep ball. So if we can do that, and then offensively, we just got to be able to do what we do, and with our backs and get guys, in position, running at our pace, and I think God willing, things will be okay.
Coach, let's meet the young men that you brought with you, and we'll get them on the mic, guys. When you guys are probably going to have to keep sliding down, though. I'm not sure how far that microphone's going to slide.
First up is Joe Brand, second team All-State last year and captain. These are our 5 captains.
Okay. Joe, first of all, thanks for being here, and congratulations on the win. Talk about the play. Coach just mentioned pick and go and swerving, and how big of a play was that for not only you but for your football team?
It was a great play. We were down. We was tied. About to go into halftime. Caught the interception. My players, they gave me some good blocks. They was blocking real good. They helped me get into the end zone.
This is a team, obviously, a lot of talent, high expectations. Good first win. I mean, emotional night, Ring of Honor, the stadium. Yep. What does a win like that over a team like Glenville do for you guys moving forward?
It motivates us. It makes us want to go harder. It makes us want to practice harder. It just motivates us.
So I won't spend a lot of time on Lorraine because if you haven't seen film, I don't know exactly what to ask you. So let's just do it this way. Another home game. Have you guys made it one of those things, you guys have the name for it after your fallen teammate, and it's your home turf. How important is it to keep winning these home games and not let anybody come to Euclid's High School and get out of there with a win?
It's very important. We set high expectations for ourselves. We got high standards, so we just got to keep setting the bar, keep raising the bar.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up, another captain for Euclid Panthers. All right. Do me a favor. Give me your name, year, and position just for the people listening on the podcast.
Damian Brown, class of 2019, wide receiver and defensive back.
So the offense, 42 points against a very talented Glenville team. What did you like that you saw out of the offense? Coach talked about the depth, the ability to use a lot of guys in different places. What was it that you liked about the offense?
Definitely that. We got a whole bunch of depth in our receiving core and our running back core, and we could give anybody the ball and put it in our hands. We're a fast team.
Does a week one win not only just winning the game, but with the emotion, with the pageantry, with everything that was going on, and then to beat a Glenville team by almost 4 touchdowns, what does that do for you guys moving forward?
I think it motivates us to know that we could win at home and to help us to go forward with just our goal of winning a state championship.
The next game up, obviously, Lorraine, again, for various reasons. We won't go into a preview per se, but just tell me a little bit about what do you expect out of this next game and playing 4 games in a row at home. What do you expect out of this run here?
I expect us to win at home because I know we can, and I know if we can win at home, it's going to be hard to run on the road. So I expect us to come out and compete and just be whoever line up against us.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming up tonight. Go ahead and switch with your next teammate. Again, these are the Euclid captains. Yeah, yep. We know the big guy here. Go ahead and introduce yourself and give us your name, year, and position.
Sean Berry, 2019, center / D tackle.
So, 2-time captain at a school like Euclid. I mean, you saw the people going into the Ring of Honor. What does that mean to be honored by your teammates, your coaches, your school, the community to be a 2-time captain?
It's a blessing, and I've been working hard for it, and it's just an honor to be a 2-time captain at a prestigious school like Euclid.
So how proud were you of not only your fellow captains and classmates, but of the whole team? To beat a team like Glenville 42-17 on a special night like week one, how proud were you as one of the leaders of this football team?
It feels great, man. To open up our new stadium, to beat a team like Glenville who has a good history of winning stuff. It's great to win against a team like that.
So this beautiful new stadium, Ring of Honor, all the history that goes with Euclid football, 3 more games in a row at home. I mean, to try and keep winning at home, what's it going to take for you guys to keep doing this and keep protecting your home turf?
It starts at practice. We got to practice hard. And when we practice hard, we play hard, especially against week 2, week 3. I'm really looking forward to week 3, though.
Yeah, week 3, folks, is the fellas from West 25th, St. Ignatius, but I know Coach Rotsky get mad at me. We're not skipping week 2 till we get through week 2. So go ahead and pass that mic down. It's good seeing you, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. All right. Come on up. Give us your name, your year, and your position, please.
I'm Raylan McGuire, class of 19, linebacker and wide receiver.
So, offense, 42 points, people flying around, but defensively to limit them to 17. How impressed were you with the defense the other night against Glenville?
I was very impressed because last year we were more of a first-half team, and this year we showed we were more of an all-around team and just finished the game.
This is a football team I feel like you have size, you have speed, you have athleticism, you have experience, you have coaching. This team to me seems like has a chance to go a long way and be very scary. What are your expectations for this football team?
I mean, my expectations and all of our expectations have been the same since last year, and that's to win the state championship.
The Lorraine's next up. Again, we don't have much to go on, but I feel like with you guys, is it something where you're confident you step on the field and no matter who's on the other sideline, no matter who the other uniform is, if we play Euclid football, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win? Is that kind of the approach week in and week out?
Yeah, that's pretty much the approach every week because once we step on the field, we feel like we just give it our all. We don't let up any play at all.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Go ahead and pass that down to your teammate. Next up, Chris Parker. Go ahead and give us your year and your position real quick.
Chris Parker, linebacker, and class of 2019.
You know, I wish instead of a podcast we had this on video, because these are some big guys up here. Like, they passed the eye test in a hurry. So, Chris, tell me about the Glenville win, man. It had to be emotional, you know, with the stadium, with the Ring of Honor and everything going on, and to come out and play that well. Just how important was that for you guys to play like that?
It was actually really important because it was a lot of talking, back and forth between teams and things like that. For us to actually come out and actually dominate the game like that on defense and offensive wise, it was actually.
Do me a favor, hold that mic up so that we can hear you a little better. There you go. Okay. When you beat a team like Glenville, and I don't think you guys necessarily were lacking confidence, but does that help you moving forward? Does that give you momentum when you beat a team like that in week one?
Actually, yes, it does. But since we're past week one now, I feel like we just week two is the task at hand, and we should worry about
keying on Lorraine from this point on. All right. So we won't get specifically into Lorraine as the opponent, but just Euclid, the Panthers. What is key to success? What needs to happen week 2 through week 10 and hopefully into November for you guys to continue success?
Consistency. We got to continue to work hard. We got to continue to practice hard and have hard sessions all the time, and not every once in a while.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot for being here. There's the captains for Euclid. Coach, going to get you 1 second. We're going to get Coach Rotsky one more time. Euclid Panthers, good enough to join us. We appreciate that. North is on deck. VASJ right after the Rangers. It's Varsity Chalk Talk live here at Hooley House in Menor. Of course, South Rebels and Lake Catholic will wrap us up in a little bit. Coach, I can see why those are captains. Great answers, very well-spoken guys, humble, but yet I think they know what kind of football team they have. You've done a lot. You've had the highest of high successes. I don't think that you take the word captain as a throwaway. I think it means a lot to you and any program. I mean, and if I'm misspoken, please tell me. But what do these 5 young men mean to your program?
Let me tell you something. Forget even football. There's not a thing in the world that I wouldn't do for these 5 young men. Each one of these guys have beaten down every ceiling that anybody's ever put on them. Each one of these guys has, you're talking 3-6, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-6. Multiple guys are offered, but more importantly, they care about each other. This is a senior class. This is our first 4-year class. This is our measuring stick.
Right.
But I had them all over my home for a barbecue before the season, and just the joy and the friendship that they have together is second to really I don't think I've ever had in my 22 years as a coach. And that's why this is really special. That's why this is, that's why they think sometimes I'm really, really extra hard. I want them to live a journey right now that no Euclid team ever has. And when you come out of the gate, Glenville, Lorraine, Ignatius, Medina, and then, you got Menor and Solon and all that, there are no breaks, but we hopefully are preparing them for a long stretch.
Well, Coach, me and you have been doing this a long time, and I really appreciate seeing you. I know it can't work every single Monday, even if I'm a pain sending you text messages, but anytime you guys want to come up, you're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Guys, it was great to see you. Thank you for making time for me tonight after a long day of school and practice. Coach, good luck on Friday.
We're actually heading down right now to the hospital. One of my players from Cleveland Heights is battling cancer, so we're going to go visit him now. They understand how to pay it forward. They understand to pay it forward.
Appreciate it very much, guys. Hopefully we'll see you back on another Monday, okay? Thanks so much, Coach. Take care. All right. That's the Euclid Panthers. Good job, guys. Again, Euclid's 1-0. Big win over Glenville. They next stay home. They're staying home for 4 straight weeks, and they will take on a Lorraine team that is also 1-0. All right. So, next up, another one of our regulars, our weeklies that are here every week, and we appreciate, even when some things are going on at school, they make time to be here for us. Coach Dodd was unavailable, but Coach Bednar was good enough to be here, and what a fun week to talk about, at least on one side of the ball, which is Coach's side, but 52 points, and a great individual performance that we're going to get to in a second. and beat a team and set the tone, and it's a week 1 win. I'm talking about the North Rangers, and this is Coach Bednar. Coach, how are you, man? Thanks for being here tonight.
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And then, of course, Coach Dodd doing some school stuff. Couldn't be here, but good enough not only to have Coach fill in, but to send up his players, and we got great parent support. North has been great to us since we started this 10 seasons ago. Well, Coach, 52 points. Let's start with the positive stuff, and that's anytime you can get out the gate like that, and the way you guys ran the football. I mean, the numbers. You had to be very pleased with that side of the football.
Oh, absolutely. We knew coming back in this season, one of our strengths was going to be our offensive line. Pretty much, we've had everybody coming back. Just needed to plug one guard spot, and so that was going to be our strength. So we knew we were going to be able to run the ball. We're doing some different things this year, running-wise, that is a little bit different than the norm, and so we weren't sure how well it was going to work, but boy, it certainly did a nice job, and they really worked hard. Our offensive line did a nice job. They really got people moving off the ball, and of course we have a great running back with Brett Payne, who runs extremely hard. And then first-year quarterback Jimmy Arnold does a great job with managing the game, managing the team, making great decisions. And that's really a big key, is making sure when we're doing our reads is we're making the right decisions, getting the ball into the right hands.
Yeah, a lot of good things come out of the game. Now, giving up 43 on defense, but in a game like that where it's going back and forth, week 1, Coach Triv even said some of those early games, they do get to be a little bit more high scoring. Is it just a matter of just, maybe making some adjustments on defense? I mean, because I know, obviously, you have plenty of talent on that side of the ball as well.
Yeah, it's making some adjustments, but we're also, our front four on our defense are all returners. Secondary, we're playing a lot of young kids. So a lot of them, it was their first varsity action, a few sophomores that we're playing. So they're very talented. First action varsity, they're going to get better. So for us, I think our defense has a lot of room for improvement just because we are so young.
Coach, Revere's next, and I know that's a team that had great success in week 1. I know you went down there and played last year, correct? So what do you expect out of this game on Friday night? It's nice to have another one at Nick Carter, right?
Oh, yeah, it's always nice playing at home. I think this is going to be another one of those tough tests. Revere's just a very, very good program. They have some really big kids that played last year, and some of them are coming back. I just think they're just a solid team, well coached. I know they have a new head coach, and I think he's doing some different things with them. But we just have to go in with the game plan that we've put forth, practice it, make sure we're confident in it, and just execute.
Coach, why don't you introduce the guys you brought up with you, and then we'll get them on the mic and bring you back in to close it out.
Sure. To my right is starting quarterback Jimmy Arnold. Next to him is running back Brett Payne. Next to Brett is Spencer Sedevy, our offensive right tackle, and then Spencer Wood, who is a receiver, plays safety, and is our kicker.
All right, let's bring in your quarterback first. And, guys, you're fine then. The guy's going to have to shift down a little bit and make sure the bottom orange is kind of in that microphone if you can, trying to deal with our technical issues. Go ahead and introduce for the podcast. Just give me your name, your year, and your position.
Jimmy Arnold, 2019, quarterback.
Jimmy, this is an offense that I know you guys are confident in. You can do some different things. When you run the ball like you guys ran the ball the other night, I mean, how fun is that from a guy running the offense that just about any play coming in from the sideline is probably going to work?
Oh, absolutely. We got a solid offensive line, and pretty much anything that Coach Bednar sends to Coach Keats and Coach Keats gives the receivers to give to me, that's going to be a solid 4 to 5 yard gain every single time, and I got no doubt in my offensive line that we're going to get a 4 yard gain every single time we run the ball.
Now, when you're running the ball like that, I'm sure it takes a little pressure off the passing game, but I know you're confident that you can throw the ball when you need to. Is this one of those things where if they keep doing that, it's going to eventually open up the passing game?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had 13 carries myself. Brett had 35, and I only threw the ball 6 times Friday, so definitely took some pressure off of me, and I don't mind running the ball all night if we have to.
52, it's a great way to start. Are there still, some things on offense that you say, you know what, we got to keep working, we're going to get better at?
Absolutely. We had opening up the third quarter, we had a miscue in the offense. We had a few penalties that set us back. Let Westlake get back in the game a little bit, make it a 3-point game. But if we clean those penalties up, then it wouldn't have been that close at all. So,
what can you tell me about Revere, and what do you expect out of this football game?
They're very physical. I know they graduated. They sent a few kids off, a few D1 linemen last year. So they're a little young on the line, but their skill position, they're very quick. They like to play very physical. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's another close one Friday night.
Appreciate you being here, man. Go ahead and pass
Thank
that
you.
down. And go ahead and switch with your teammate. And next up, just for the podcast, for the recording, give me your year, name, year, and position.
Brett Payne, senior running back.
All right. And so Coach Dodge sent me this. 35 carries, 216 yards, 2 touchdowns, 322 all-purpose yards. That sound about right?
Yes, it does.
That sound pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there. So tell me a little bit about that night. I mean, I know guys like you are going to credit the offensive line, but what was going so right for you on offense?
Just sticking to the game plan. We came in the game knowing we were going to run a lot, and that's exactly what it did. And like you said, our offensive line did great, and it worked out.
Is this an offense and a running game in particular? I mean, I don't know if you're going to get 35 carries every night. They're going to run you into the ground. But do you feel confident that you can be a workhorse, and if they call your number, you're ready anytime they call your number?
Yes, I'm ready every play.
Tell me a little bit about Revere, their defense. If they're big, physical, speedy, what do you expect out of this game Friday night?
I expect them to be big, very physical, and it's just going to be a slug match back and forth.
Brett, do you feel like you're taking out a little frustration? Because I know last year with the injuries, I mean, you're healthy, you're feeling good. What does this year feel like to get off to that kind of start?
Feels amazing. Very excited for it.
All right, and so for Brett's performance, 322 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns, he is one of our Hooley House Players of the Week. So congratulations to Brett on that.
Thank you.
And you can grab one of these shirts. Try and be careful with the computer, but find yourself a shirt on your way out of here, okay?
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. Pass
Thank
that
you.
down. We'll have 2 Hooley House Players of the Week each week here on Varsity Chalk Talk. Our first one was Brian Trobell from Menor, who had 4 touchdowns and 190 yards against St. Ed's. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You're going to have to hold the bottom end. Yeah. Yep.
Spencer Sotheby, right tackle, senior.
So I love that an offensive lineman is here because I can give away T-shirts and Players of the Week, and I know you're thinking to yourself, heck's he getting all the credit for? No, obviously Brett had a great game, but talk about what the offensive line was able to accomplish.
I feel like we did a great job just opening the holes for Brett. You know, you give him some space, and he's just when he gets to that second level, that's where he's just the most powerful. So we opened those holes on the D-line, and there's just no slowing him down. And that's what we were able to do last week.
52 points. I would say it's unrealistic to expect to average that for the year, but have you seen kind of the potential of this football team on offense?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in practice every day, we're just working on our run game. I feel like people, it might look like we don't like to pass the ball, but we definitely have an attack and passing the football.
Tell me about Revere. Defensively, I don't need a game plan or a scouting report, but what do you expect out of this game Friday night?
I definitely expect them to be physical, like Jimmy said. Last year we played them. They had a lot of physical kids, and I expect a game.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming. Next up for North, 52-43 winners. They are 1-0 on the season. Trying to go 2-0. They're home to Revere on Friday. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Spencer Wood, senior wide receiver.
And Spencer did a little bit of everything Friday, and very good special teams game for him. I know Coach pointed him out to me specifically. Spencer, a game like that where there's so much going on and there's so many points and you're never comfortable even with 50 points because they got 43. What kind of game is that like to play in?
You just hang in there. You never know what's going to come, so you have to always be ready for a field goal or a change in possession, and you just have to always be ready.
How do you feel a game like that in week one from a momentum or a confidence standpoint? What does that do as far as setting the tone for the season?
I think it actually helps us a lot. You don't score 52 points every single week, so you'll just be able to ride that into the next week, but you still have to prepare every week like against a new opponent because you can't expect to do that every week.
This is a team that I think has high expectations. And so a win like that, and now how important is it to keep the momentum? I know it sounds like a silly question. You want to win every game, but to keep the momentum, get a 2-game win streak, protect your home turf. So how key is it to win this game this week?
We've kind of been inconsistent in practice lately, but if we just keep focused and get more consistent, I think that we can keep the momentum going. And, one game will lead to 2 and 2 will lead to 3 and just keep going.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Coach, come on in here. We are with the North Rangers. Coach Bednar filling in for Coach Dodd. And next, like we said before, is Revere. What keys? Just give me some keys to this victory. I'm sure scoring 52 would be nice again, but I don't think that's realistic to expect every week. Getting a game like Brett had would be unbelievable, but I know you have confidence you guys can continue to run the football. What do you expect on Friday night?
Yeah, I expect a very, very physical game up front. I think it's going to be a battle of the lines, offensive line against defensive line on both sides of the ball. For us, I know for us offensively, we lost some focus during the game in the second half, regained it, and were able to take the lead. So I think we're just scratching the surface of what our offense can do, even though we scored 52 points. I think there's still a lot of room for growth. We just got to clean some things up. And, again, for us, I think it's going to come down to who executes the best and who makes the least amount of mistakes.
Well, Coach, like I said, I appreciate you pinch hitting for Coach Dodd. You know you're welcome anytime, whether Dodd's here or not. Guys, thanks so much for coming. Congratulations again to Brett Payne for being a Hooley House Player of the Week. Go ahead and find a shirt. There's some equipment on top, but you can dig around. Just be careful, all right? All right, that's the North Rangers, and good luck to them this week against Revere. Coach, we're going to get VSJ real quick, and then you're good. Coach Sowers, I saw you walk in, right? Are you here? He's here. Is he still here? Oh, there he is. I'm like looking all over the place. Then we got South and Lake Catholic, and they can duke it out for the anchor team tonight. All right, so next up, and these are the guys I really appreciate because, it's real easy to come up and talk when you're heading to a state championship game or you win 75-0. It's a little tougher when you lose a tough game. They played one of the better small school programs in the state of Ohio. Came up short against Cuyahoga Heights last Thursday, but they're back, getting ready to go on the road for the first time this year. They're going to take a trip out to Elyria Catholic. I am with Coach Sowers and the VASJ Vikings. Coach, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, just make sure you hold the bottom of that. It should click. Okay. Coach, obviously things did not go the way you wanted, but it's a tremendous opponent. It's a first game. You got young kids. Nobody's making excuses, just facts are facts. What were some of the things now 5 days out that you were able to get out of that football game?
Well, like I touched on that night, it was the discipline thing. Like when you're playing a program like that, you have to be playing your best and you can't make mistakes. And we made a bunch of them, and it came back to bite us in the butt. So we're trying to get that stuff cleaned up this week, rolling into week 2.
Coach, not here to dwell on the negative, so I won't. I will say I thought Cam Williams was very much a positive for you. I know you were high on him in the preseason, in the summer. Maybe it's not a name a lot of people know, but boy, he flashed. When they say what he popped off the page.
Yeah.
He looks like. How talented and how much of a part of what you want to do this year can Cam be for your football team?
Yeah, no, he was one of the guys we felt in the summertime we could rely on. He was a guy who was on the field for us a year ago as a sophomore. He's taken some steps, and he made some plays for us last week. And the big thing now is, can he be consistent? Can he do it week in and week out? And obviously we hope that he can.
Coach, and again, I'm not trying to make excuses or nitpick, but at one point, 28-12, you got a little momentum, and I thought, you're not exactly within a field goal, but you're still hanging around. But good teams like Cuyahoga Heights do what good teams do. So, but did you see some positives that you could say, hey guys, but the final score is what it is, but there were parts where we were playing against a pretty darn good football team.
Yeah. The fight and the effort was outstanding. All those things are things we can build on. If we can get some of the mistakes cleaned up and become more consistent in terms of execution, then there's no doubt in my mind that our players have the desire and the willingness to win. So,
Coach, this week you turn around, get on the old VASJ Transit, and head a long way out to Elyria Catholic.
Yeah.
They have a new coach and are coming off one heck of a debut game. big win, I believe, over Brookside. What can you tell me about EC this week?
Yeah, obviously last year, was a tight ball game between our club and theirs in similar circumstances. We kind of lost a tough week 1 game last year where they dominated Brookside. So like I told our guys Friday morning, Saturday morning, the circumstances aren't all that different. I'm expecting a tough, hard-nosed football game on Friday night out at EC. And, if we can do some of the things to help ourselves in terms of playing more discipline and being consistent, I like our chances late in the game.
Coach, just as far as having a young team and coming off of a tough week, and now it's a longer week into Friday, extra day, for coaches to pick apart film and get after guys in practice, is it important? X's and O's are one thing, and physical, and be in shape, and blah blah blah. But the mental aspect and keeping these guys focused and keeping them on board with the message and the plan, and you're going to win some football games. Was that something that was important for you over the last couple days?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously we don't want our guys to get too down. We want them to believe in themselves and believe like we can have some success this week. That was part of our message today. But at the same time, we need guys who are willing to step up into larger roles and be more consistent. And we're not gonna settle for average execution or below average execution. So I think our players understand that. I think they're excited about the week ahead. And today we were kind of battling the heat a little bit, which was fun. But we're looking forward to this week.
Well, Coach, like I said, the easiest thing in the world is I'm not going to make it, and after a week like that, I would have totally understood. So I really appreciate you being here, and best of luck to your guys, and hopefully next Monday we're talking about a victory.
All right, Billy, thank you.
All right, that's Coach Sowers and the VASJ Vikings. Appreciate that. All right, so guys, you want to let your guys eat? Coach Duff, you want to let your guys eat and bring O'Donnell up, or what do you want to go? It's up to you. All right, come on up. Coach OD is going to be the anchor. We're going to bring up the Rebs right now. All right, next up, again, one of our all-timers from 10 seasons. They never miss, win or lose. Tough first week. Did some good things, but a tough road game against a very good NDCL team. That came up just short. It is the South Rebels and Coach Matt Duffy. Glad to have him back on board for another season. Coach, how are you, man? Good to see you.
Good to have us, Bill.
Coach, it's become a great week 1 game. You've gotten them your fair share. They've won a couple ball games. It's not easy to go out there in the first week. I saw some of your quotes in the paper. You guys did some good things just over the course of 48 minutes, maybe not enough. What were some of the things that you pulled out of that game that you were very much positives for the Rebels?
The kids did a lot of really good things, but at the same time, there's a lot of things to work on. We kind of were good play, bad play type of deal, and really took us a little bit of while to get going. And 14-7, half a minute left in the first quarter, and we give up a big play and make it 21-7 and a half, and then defense kind of rise in the second half, and we just couldn't get it done offensively. But we got a lot of kids that are a little bit new to it, and that's something that only comes with experience. Notre Dame is a good football team, and they're solid and they did good things, but there's a lot of it's hard for me to have a lot of positives about losing, but
right.
It just doesn't make me feel good. But I think we saw some things that our kids could compete and we can get better at some areas. And good football team we lost to, but the expectation is to win. And I think that's part of our growth process moving forward is our kids have to expect a win. And the coaches on the staff have to expect to go out and win and not hope we win. And not hope it goes well. Just go out there and win. And I think we got the horses to do it, and we just got to get to it as soon as possible and let these kids get fired up a little bit.
Coach Duffy, good enough to join us. The South Rebels take the L in the opener at NDCL. They are back home. Beautiful Harry Winter Stadium this week against a good Maple Heights team who's off to a 1-0 start. Coach, I thought some of the positives, it looked, from the, an outside looking in, some turnovers you were able to create on defense. Passing game looked like, it got going a little bit. So again, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. You're not into moral victories, but moving into the Maple Heights game, into week 2, you feel that there's enough there where these guys know, hey, we're going to win football games this year. It's just a matter of time. Is that the feeling you're getting from this group?
Yeah, but I think the kids have to understand, time is the most precious thing we have. Whether that's football or anything else, I don't want to go to that whole thing, but they have to understand there's not time anymore. And it's go. And we got to, we made mistakes, and when I say that, not necessarily the kids, just things that if we do a little bit better, that's a different outcome on Friday night. And you can never. I give all the credit to NDCL, and they do a nice job, and they're sound, and they're going to win a lot of football games over there. But our kids have to understand that there's a game Friday night at 7:00, and we feel it's a game that if we play our best, we can win. And we have to do that. And I think that's one of the things we have to press as coaches this week to our kids that, hey, listen, the expectation is win, and we have the kids to do it. Let's do it. And, mistakes hurt us, penalties hurt us, critical situations, critical downs. Some of our best kids and our captains and those guys, there were some critical downs, and they'll be the first one to tell you. We didn't get it done when we needed to get it done, and we got back into it after half of that and had the opportunity to climb back in and maybe win a ball game, and we just couldn't do it. And that's part of the process, but the process can only last so long. Eventually you got to say, we're going to win. And I think we got the kids, the leaders, my 4 captains that are sitting here. I think they understand that, and we can't go out hoping we do. We got to get back to we're just going to go out and win, period. That's it. We're going to win.
Coach, why don't you go ahead and pass the mic down? We'll let these guys introduce themselves. It'll go to there, and then you're probably going to have to switch seats. All right? Go ahead. Coach, you want on? Go ahead.
Coach Waite. Gary Waite.
Coach, special teams coordinator, correct?
Correct.
Coach, so just talk about the first week and what were some of the things you saw out of your guys on special teams that you liked?
Well, I think we battled well special teams wise. We didn't lose. We 4 for 4, perfect on extra points. We pinned them, kickoff covers. We did well, got down, covered, pinned them inside the 20 twice. So we got athletes on our special teams. We've really put an emphasis this year on special teams.
When you look at your next opponent, Maple Heights, who's going to bring tons of athleticism and speed, special teams, I've seen games with that team in different variations that they can break games open on special teams. Is that a point of emphasis this week to kind of eliminate big plays?
Correct, yes. That again, we don't want to lose a game. I think that could be an emphasis where, again, it gives us an advantage of winning a game, putting us in position to cause turnovers and again, create points for us.
For the remainder of the season, how critical do you feel special teams can be for this team? Do you feel you have the kids who can really make an impact on the whole season, not just an individual game?
Oh, absolutely. We're playing some good athletes across the board on all our special teams that I think, again, we're going to create field position opportunities for us, point scoring opportunities for us all season long.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for being here. Go ahead and pass that over. And this is for the South Rebels. Give us your name, your year, and your position.
Drew Shepler, 2000, D-end and tight end.
And Drew, obviously, like Coach said, Coach doesn't want to hear about positives or moral victories. It's you guys got to start winning football games. Has that been the message that you guys have all kind of talked to each other about this week?
Yeah, last year we were used to losing, and that's kind of carrying over to this season right now. So we're looking to end that, start winning some games.
This is a team has the talent and has the athletes to win. So what gets you over the hump? What's going to be the difference between those tight losses and winning some football games?
We just got to put our offense and defense together, I think, because too many times we had our defense making turnovers and then our offense wouldn't convert, or the other way around. Our offense would make plays and then, our defense wouldn't get a stop the next possession. And we just got to put it all together.
Tell me a little bit about Maple. What do you know about them? I don't need a scouting report, but what do you expect Friday night?
We know they're all quick and athletic. So we're going to be ready for their quarterback to do a lot of running, fast receivers and stuff. But, we're just going to have to be ready for QB pulls, everything like that.
Okay. Go ahead and switch microphones with your teammate. I think it'll reach to there, and then after that you guys will have to switch. Okay. Go ahead and name your in position.
I'm Cameron Von Sagern. I'm a safety. I'm a senior.
So, again, we're not looking moral victories or positives or spin control, but what are some of the things from the NDCL game that you can pull and use moving forward?
Well, we know we got what it takes to win ball games. We just it's time to prove it now, and I think we're capable of it, and I think we have a shot on it this Friday.
This is a team I gotta believe is very close. I mean, it feels like if I go back even to last year, and I know you guys don't want to dwell on that, so many times a possession here, a play here. Do you feel like it's just going to take one thing to kind of push you over the hump on this thing?
Yeah, I think one thing, if we just turn on this switch, I think we can be a pretty good football team.
What do you expect on Friday night against Maple Heights?
They're going to be quick, they're going to be athletic, but if we just keep the ball in front of us, don't give it a big place, I think we can hang in there and get a dub.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass the mic. Next up for the Rebels, good enough to join us here. And then Lake Catholic will wrap things up right after that. Go ahead, introduce yourself, name your position.
I'm John Susnick, a junior. I'm center and defensive end.
So, when you come off a tough game like that, is it important to just put it aside, move forward, focuses on Maple? I mean, talk about kind of the mental process after a game like that.
It hurts losing like that. You just got to put it aside and think positive and go from that. You got to worry about the next week and who you're facing.
Obviously most people talk about skill guys and this guy caught this and this guy threw that. But you, from in the trenches, what do you like about the group up front on both sides of the ball this year?
Our offensive line, I have fun with all of them. Two juniors, 3 juniors, and then 2 seniors. And we all get along, we have fun, and we play hard.
Maple, what's it going to take to slow them down and get a victory this week?
We just got to play how we normally play. We got to play tough, stay positive, and focus on winning.
Appreciate it, man. Let's go ahead and pass that down. Next up for the Rebels. One final player. We'll get Coach Duff back here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Tony Diofredi, senior middle linebacker.
Again, some good things that come out of the NDCL game, just not enough. And Coach is very blunt about saying, we got to win games. All this good, positive, happy, we did this and that. As a leader on the team, as a guy playing your position, what's your message to your teammates? Is it just, hey, we got to find a way to make a couple extra plays in every game and win?
Yeah, we just got to do our job and do what we were practiced to do all week, and we have to come out with the win this week.
Maple Heights is obviously very talented, dangerous, athletic, all that. What is it going to take to win this game Friday?
We know they're quick, they're fast, and so we just got to stop them from their speed, which they're really good at. And once we stop them from that, we'll most likely come out with the win.
I know any win is a good win in high school football, but for a team that's been so close and tight losses, to beat a team the quality of Maple, what would that do for your confidence and kind of setting the tone and going forward for the rest of the year?
It'll give us a great boost, It'll give us that edge that, we can't lose to just any team. We will beat any team, honestly, because Maple Heights will most likely be our greatest threat of the year.
Appreciate you being here, man. Let's give Coach Duffy the mic back. And Coach, Maple Heights, led by a name that I know our next guest will never wants to hear again, Shaq Washington. He did some damage as a player in those 2000s games, the state semis against the Lake Catholic teams. Off to a 1-0 start. I know the way he was as a player. If his team's anything like that, exciting, game-breaking type of ability, what do you see out of Maple Heights this year?
Well, I think all the kids touched on it. They have some explosive athletes, but I think the South Rebels have some explosive athletes. And so I think, you're kind of – it's one of those games to me, it's a trench warfare game. And we can talk about all the speed and all the athletes all we want, but I think we have kids that match up with their kids. I'm sure they think they have kids that match up with our kids, and our kids, John and those guys up front, they have to pound the football, and defensively we got to take away the run game being sound. And everyone, by nature, this game looks like it's a speed game, and it's not. We have to win up front, and our offensive line has to win up front, and our defensive line has to win up front. And if we can do those things, then that's a game we can win. We're always honest with our kids, and it's one of those that we got to get on the right side of the scale and get a W.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. I know Mondays aren't the easiest for you with some other things going on, football-wise, family-wise. Guys, I really appreciate you being here, hanging in there. Good luck Friday night, man. Get one, because when we see you next Monday, let's talk about a win, okay? Thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it. That's Coach Duffy and the South Rebels. All right. Bringing up the rear, the anchor team. Come on up. So our final team for the night, and we appreciate their patience as they've been doing for the last 10 seasons. Good enough to agree to go at the end here, and it's we talked about great games and nail biters and close ones, and Lake Catholic was involved in a game that was pretty darn impressive against a Division I team who is thought to be one of the better teams. I've seen them ranked in this, and this. And Lake Catholic took them down impressively. Not just a win, but took them down 31-7. Great game all the way around. And Coach O'Donnell and his guys are good enough to join us. Coach, how you doing, man? Thanks for being here.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah, congratulations. What
Thank
a win. I mean, you don't want to get too crazy, and I've known you too long. I know your family. I know the way you approach football. Celebrate, but we got to get ready for week 2. But, man, in the moment, on a Thursday, the JTO is all to you, and you guys win that convincingly against a team I feel like you think you should have beat last year. How good did that feel coming off that field?
Oh, it was excellent. It was a total team effort in all 3 phases, and the young men took the opportunity that they were given and made the most of it. There were so many different plays that we made in different situations, and it was fun. It was fun, and it was an exciting game. I think it was exciting for me. It was exciting for the rest of the coach. It was exciting for the players, and exciting for all the people who were involved.
It was quite a way to start the season, Coach. So I know it sounds like the journalism talk show host cliche, but I think I asked you last week, how does that set the tone? I got to believe if I'm a Lake Catholic Cougar player, coach, fan, classmate, here we go. Like, that's a good way to get 2018 going, not just with a W, but a 31-7 over a D1 team that's going to win a lot of football games. Does that set the tone for you guys for the year?
Getting a 1-0 and being 0-1 is a hell of a lot different.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And the kids are excited, and we do what we had to do. And now, today, we talked about it at practice. It's about getting better. It's about the next step. It's about getting us better and doing what we need to do to get there. But it's exciting. Stowe's a great football team. They were well coached, and kids did a great job. Coaches did a great job, and we got the W.
Coach O'Donnell and the Lake Catholic Cougars good enough to join us. Coach, obviously you said it's total team win, a lot of different contributors and a lot of different facets, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least start with, you hold a team like Stowe to 7 points in 48 minutes, and I know defense is your side of the football, but how impressed were you with the young men on that side of the ball on Thursday night?
It was good. And we took a step up, and I think Matt down there, we were talking about earlier in the day where he predicted a 31-14 score. And I said, Matt, you really think that we're going to give up 14 points?
You're giving up 2 touchdowns, huh?
We're going to give up 2. And he changed. Actually, he did. He changed his prediction to 31-7, and that's what it was.
And I did see the AD had to wear the Cougar, right?
Oh, yeah. John had a great time with that one.
Yeah, that was fun.
But it was a good time, but we took a step forward defensively, and it's a confidence thing with the kids. They see it, we coach that, and they believe in it, and it happened. And so each day is a better day on that side of the ball. And we still have a long way to go. Sure. We do. Well, up front, we're young, and we talk about it day in and day out, and we're going to get there. And they want to learn, and they want to be pushed.
Now that has to be pretty exciting for Cougar Nation and these guys. A 31-7 win, and there's still plenty work on. The ceiling isn't anywhere near touched. And next week they will step on the road for the first time this year. Saturday game, Cleveland Central Catholic. That's an afternoon affair, if I'm not mistaken. Beautiful field over there. So we'll see how that goes. Before we jump into week 2, why don't you go ahead and pass the mic down. Let's let these guys get on board and talk to some of your coaches and players.
All right, Coach Banowitz, offensive coordinator.
Coach, welcome back. Thanks for being here again, man. And hopefully we make this a regular Monday occurrence. Coach, you had so much success as a quarterback on that field in that uniform. To call plays and to have your team go out 31 points, beat a Division I school, what was that like for you from behind the headsets instead of behind the huddle?
Oh, it was an absolute blast, and the guys came out and they played tough, and that's all you can ask for in a Week 1 game, is to come out and make the big plays, and they did it. And, they deserve that one big time.
Well, I know no Lake Catholic person has ever said, no, going into a game I didn't have any confidence. I thought we were going to lose. So I'm not going to ask you if you expected to win, because I'm sure you did. Did you expect to do what you guys were able to do with that much success and ease? It felt like you guys really handled a good Stowe team the other night.
We knew we were capable of it all along, so that's the big thing this year, is the team knows what they're able to do when they all play like that. So, yeah, we always thought that we were capable of getting to 1-0.
I know coaches don't like singling out. They feel like they're going to leave somebody out. But just very quickly, what were some of the things or some of the guys that you liked, what you saw on offense the other night?
Oh, all these guys sitting next here played a great game. The offensive line played good, but you'll hear from these guys when they talk to them. But Matt Slowey, particularly the quarterback right here, was our offensive player of the game this week. He was 15 of 17, and so he played a great game, and that's really what the guys all fed off all week.
Coach, next up is Cleveland Central. They're always athletic, and they run around and they buzz to the ball. I would guess, and maybe I'm wrong on this, that you'll have the size advantage in the trenches. But what are some of the things you're looking to take advantage of on Saturday afternoon?
Just coming out and doing the things we do best. You've been a long-time Cougar football fan. We're going to come out, run the football, and that's going to be a point of emphasis every time. So the rest of the stuff takes care of itself when you can run the ball.
That's Coach Mark Banowitz, the Lake Catholic offensive coordinator, good enough to join us on Varsity Chalk Talk. Lake Catholic is bringing up the anchor for the folks listening on the podcast. This is our final guest of the evening. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Matt Slowey, class of 2019, and quarterback.
And you just heard Coach Banowitz talk about what a great game he had, effective, efficient. Matt, talk about what was going right on offense for you guys. Obviously quite a bit, but what do you feel was the strength and what you guys were able to do?
Our line's been doing really good. They've been creating good pocket. I think we only had 2 sacks, which were solely on me. I just didn't get the ball off on time, but the line's been doing a great job. The receivers are running good routes, and the backs, Nate Reap over there, is doing a great job, and so is Ben Lawson. So it's all clicking, and it all clicked week 1.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Coach O.D., which is setting the tone. Not only is it a win, and everybody likes a win, and you're feeling better about yourself, but impressive win. Thursday night opener against a Division I team. What does that do for you guys just to kind of get going into the rest of 2018?
Yeah, it boosts our confidence a lot, because coming into that game, we knew they were good, but the work we put in this summer, we knew what we could do and compete with any team out there.
What do you expect Saturday afternoon over at Cleveland Central Catholic?
It's going to be a hard-fought game, but I think we compete. I think we'll outplay them, and I think we'll win that one too.
Appreciate it very much. Go ahead and pass that down. You might have to switch seats, though, now. Next up for the Cougars, 31-7 winners over Stowe last Thursday night. Go ahead.
Sean Fitzgerald, class 2019, wide receiver, DB.
Sean, Coach mentioned a lot went right in a lot of different areas. When people say team victory, sometimes it just gets lost. But, that sounded like it couldn't have been more about a complete team effort. Is that how you guys felt?
Yeah, definitely. I think we came out with an attitude and definitely with a mentality, and we played as a team on all 3 phases, like Coach said, special teams, offense, and defense. I think we really came together against Stowe.
This is a team that 31-7 sounds great, but it doesn't sound from anybody up here that you guys are even close to have reached your potential. How much growth, how much better can this team get?
Oh, no, definitely. We definitely have a long ways to go. We're taking it week by week, game by game. Definitely got to grow in the secondary, offense and defensive line, and, we'll get there and keep practicing hard, and the results will show.
CCC, it's a Saturday afternoon. It's a beautiful stadium. They're usually very athletic and dynamic and all the game breaker stuff. What do you expect on Saturday?
I expect us to come out strong. We know we saw the Holy Name handle them. I think it was like 40-0, but we got to come out with an attitude and just forget about that and come out and play our game and show them what's up, I guess. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Lake Catholic, next up for the Cougars.
Senior Nate Reapel.
Nate, another really good individual performance, but I know you guys, you talk more about the team, so to see a lot of guys contribute, how important is that in week one to set the tone so that you guys know we don't have to count on just one player every single week?
I think it's huge. We have a ton of not underclassmen, but juniors playing too on both sides of the ball.
What do you feel, what was it about the game? Was it just your confidence level, your execution? Why were you able to dominate a really good Stowe team on both sides of the ball?
We came out strong. Christian had the opening kickoff and took it like 90 yards, which is huge. And we brought a ton of energy the rest of the game. We didn't step off the gas.
CCC on Saturday should be a tough game. It's an afternoon game on the road. What do you expect on Saturday?
I think we'll control up front, and we just got to run the ball and take care of business.
What about for the season? I mean, do you feel that this is a team? It almost sounds like a dumb question to ask, but you're only through week one. I got to feel like you guys are going to get better and better. How good could this team get?
I think we'd be really great as long as we keep our head on straight and keep going week by week.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass it down. I think we got another coach ready to step up for the Cougars.
Coach Martini's offensive line coach, and
Coach.
I coach with Coach Nasi.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good, man. Good to see you. Let's talk about those big guys up front.
Right.
What you like? What you saw the guys up front in the trenches? Obviously, the skill guys are always going to get the attention and the kudos. But what did you like about the guys up front?
What I like, they go.
They got to hold that orange part up. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, blue collar attitude.
Was it at all surprising the way you handled Stowe? Because that's a good football team. They're going to win a lot of games. They're Division I. Did it shock you at all the way you guys played?
No. Our pass pro was pretty darn good, as you saw with Slowey, 15 for 17. On the rushing game, I wasn't as pleased. We had about 85 yards. Our expectations are to get a couple hundred yards every game. But, if it doesn't work that way, you better be better on the pass pro. And thought we did a good enough job and to win the game, and did a better job than they did in the trenches. So
Saturday afternoon, it's always unique to play those afternoon games on the road. What do you expect out of CCC?
Well, they run an even front. They've got two pretty good ends. They got a young guy at the nose who goes both ways, plays center. So hopefully we get him, work him pretty hard with our double teams and our scheming. But I think we'll run the ball very well. We're going to come out way more aggressive on the run game. And, our goal is 200 yards. And this is where we got to get them here. And we want to start doing that every game. Set the tone right away, own the front, and get after it.
Appreciate it, Coach. It's always good seeing you, man. Let's get Coach OD back in here. And, Coach, Cleveland Central Catholic, it's a crossover, not a league game, but they're talented. They usually are. They usually have game breakers and dynamic athletes and that type of thing. What do you know? What do you expect to see Saturday afternoon?
We got to be prepared for everything in all three phases, and they do. You said it. They can bust one at any time from anywhere on the football field, and from where they are, whether it's a return on special teams, whether on offense it's a guy that catches it or runs it out of the backfield and goes to the house, or on defense it goes up and makes a great play. So we got to be prepared, and we got to go over there, and it's a 1 o'clock game, and that's something that we're not used to right now. So we're going to go over there and play our best.
Coach, it's such a silly question to ask, but I'll do it just to wrap up with the Cougars here. And it's game one. It's in the books. You got 48 minutes of film on your team. Now, you know them from the summer and whatnot, but nobody on earth would ever say after one game we've reached our potential. What I'm asking you is, from what you've seen and knowing you have a long way to go to get better, how excited does that make you that, boy, the sky, the bar might be pretty darn high for the Cougars this year? Is that fair to say?
It's always pretty hard for us, and we talk about it all the time. We have certain goals set for ourselves, and the ultimate goal is a state title. Okay. That's been Cougar football ever since I played. That's Cougar football. These guys understand that. But to do that, you have to have certain things that you have to reach, whether it's getting to 1-0 this week, winning the NCL, and then getting into the playoffs. And those are all goals that we need to attain. And we do those things and take care of business and get better every week. And I told them today we got after them pretty good today, and I said, we're going to push you. You guys want to be pushed? We're going to push you. And that's our responsibility as coaches to get these guys where they want to be, and we will.
It's a good start, and I know Coach doesn't like to talk past the next week, so we won't. Week 2 is Cleveland Central Catholic, 1-0, looking to get to 2-0. And, guys, we appreciate the support from everybody and being patient and being the anchor, and we'll see you next Monday, hopefully talking 2-0. All right?
Thanks,
Coach
bro.
O'Donnell and the Lake Catholic Cougars, good job, guys. Congratulations. Good luck this week. All right. So that is it for Varsity Chalk Talk, Week 2. We're getting you ready we have some big games this week. We had a couple Players of the Week, Hooley House Players of the Week, so congratulations to Brian Trobel and to Brett Payne. Next week is Labor Day, but we will be here. So hopefully you'll be done picnicking and doing whatever you got to do, and you can come up and talk some high school football. But we will be here on Labor Day. They are open, and hopefully we'll see everybody up here. So thanks to all the parents, players, coaches who came out, supported the show. Good luck to everybody this week in week number 2, and we will see you back here next Monday on Labor Day for another edition of Varsity Chalk Talk. Have a good night, everybody, and good luck to all the teams.